Hello, good evening and welcome to our last bulletin for the day. We're live from the News Hub at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. You can also hear us on 3FM 92.7 on your radio and follow our live stream on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. Let's begin with the day's news highlights. The International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea will deliver its judgment in the maritime boundary disputes between Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire on September 23. The two countries have laid claim to the disputed boundary in the Atlantic Ocean and are both calling on the special chamber to deliver judgment in their favor. While some prospective senior high school students are still struggling to get placed, others and their parents have begun checking on admissions at various schools. Parents and their wards have, however, been asked by school authorities to report on Monday, September 10. Some Togolese residents in Ghana Wednesday morning protested against the 50-year rule of the Nyasingbes. And elsewhere in Africa, the results of Angola's general elections have been announced, with the ruling MPLA securing 61.07% of votes with 150 MPs. UNITA had 26.67% with 51 MPs, while CASA CE polled 9.44% with 16 MPs. The remainder of the votes went to smaller parties. Joe Lourenco will be inaugurated as the country's new president on September 25. Those are our major news highlights. Remember, you can hear us on 3FM 92.7 on your radio. Up next is the big one. Welcome back. Now, millions of Togolese took to the street on Wednesday to protest the 50-year rule of the Nyasingbes. The mass demonstration was organized by 24 out of the 50 opposition parties coalition, which drew unprecedented support from frustrated Togolese nationals across the country and beyond. The streets of Lomé and every available space in the city were taken over by the multitude of opposition supporters, bringing almost every activity to a temporary halt. Earlier, reports suggest the internet services were deliberately slowed down following rumors of intended interruption the previous night. Citizens had trouble communicating on the internet, but that did not take anything away from the determined opposition bent on seeing an end to the Nyasingbes. Meanwhile, here in Accra, some Togolese residents in Ghana Wednesday morning protested against the 50-year rule of the Nyasingbes. Natalie Ford of the International Desk comes through with the following report.
Here at Kawukudi in Accra, many Togolese residing in Ghana are protesting against the 50-year rule of foreign Nyasingbe. They're also calling for a return of the 1992 constitution, which allows for multi-party democracy. They say that the development of Togo has been stifled by the 50-year rule of the Nyasingbes. The protest by Togolese nationals residing in Ghana coincided with others held in Lomé, the capital of Togo, as well as in Lagos, Nigeria. The protesters are calling for the stepping down of President Faure Gnassingbé, who has been in power since 2005. He was appointed by his father, President Gnassingbé Eyadema, as Minister of Equipment, Mines, Post and Telecommunications, serving from 2003 to 2005. Following President Eyadema's death in 2005, Gnassingbé was immediately made president with support from the army. Doubts have been raised regarding the constitutional legitimacy of the succession, leading to heavy regional pressure being placed on Gnassingbé.
In 2002, the former President Gnassingbé Eyadema, seeing the gravity of his health, decided to have his own son to inherit him. So he decided having a meeting with his parliamentarians, and they cooked 2002 constitution, which there are articles that favors them.
We didn't know him in the political, atmosphere. His father brought him from abroad, and instantly he was a minister. When his father died, less than 48 hours, they changed the constitution of the 1992. He moved from minister to a parliamentarian. From the parliamentarian, automatically he moved to the Speaker of the Parliament. So he took power by force. We need to change. So they are trying to still be on power, which is not favoring us.
Head of the Togolese diaspora community in Ghana, Max Kojo, is calling on the increased support of Ghana and other neighboring countries, as well as regional bodies, in getting Faure Gnassingbé to step down. In Togo, thousands of women poured on the streets to demand the immediate resignation of President Faure Gnassingbé. The women, some of whom went topless, have been calling for an end to the 50-year rule of the Gnassingbé dynasty after Faure's father, Eyadema, ruled that country for 38 years before his death in 2005. The protesters regret the slow pace of development under the Gnassingbé's 50-year rule, calling for urgent intervention to maintain peace and stability in Togo and the sub-region.
Let's go now to Togo and get a reaction from the opposition coalition group. I earlier spoke with the vice president of the group, Madame Bridget Kafui Ajanagbo Johnson. Let's listen. Right. Madam, good evening and thank you very much. So I want to hear from you how the protest in Togo went today.
I can say that it went very well in Lomé. We had many people in Lomé who came out, and we were on the road all the day. And the main message that we sent is that we want our constitution, the constitution that we voted for in 1992. But we want also the current president to know that he has to leave. He has to leave because what is said in the constitution is that no one should run the country for more than 2 terms. And first, we want our constitution, and we want him to leave. It was crowded, and people were very committed, to demonstrate, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Right. We also know, Madam Johnson, that your first protest was with stiff resistance from government forces where some of your members died in the process. So did you face any resistance from the military or loyalists of Faure Gnassingbé in today's protest?
No, this time it was peaceful. There were no military. But I have to tell you that what we are asking for also is the release of our party members that were arrested on the 19th and the 20th of August. And yes, we want them to come out.
And have you had any response from the government on your request for the release of these political prisoners?
Yeah. You know what they did is that yesterday the government met and announced that he was preparing to pass a law at the assembly. But you know, we don't trust them. We don't trust them at all. And what we want is a law with exactly what was set up in the Constitution.
Right. So when we look at the...
We want it to be back. So we don't trust them when they say that, well, they are working on a law to be sent to the Assembly.
Right. I also know that similar protests were held across some countries. In Ghana, for example, today, some of your protesters went on protests in the streets of Accra. And then in other parts of Europe, we're told some of your Togolese citizens also went on protests elsewhere in America and in Europe. Is this a strategy that the coalition of opposition parties in Togo is using to try and bring to the attention of the world your request to have for Nyasingbe step down?
Exactly. You know that there are many Togolese that are inside of the country because of the political situation. And they want to be back home. They are interested in seeing that their country is developing. But the only problem we have that prevents this country to develop is the political issue. And we need to finish with this issue. And I think that's why Togolese people that are outside everywhere this time, we are working together. They are working also toward lobbying foreign governments so that, especially in ECOWAS, they should see that in our region there is a country which is having problems, which is not a normal country as the other countries, and this should not be accepted.
Right. Madam Johnson, thank you very much for joining us on News at 10.
Thank you.
Right, let's go on to the telephone lines now and speak with Silvio Kombe, who is a freelance journalist in Togo. He joins us now. Good evening, sir. Thank you. We're grateful. So what is the posturing or reaction from the government to today's mammoth demonstration in Lomé, Togo, and other cities across the country? Hello, Silvio.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great. So I'm asking what the reaction of government has been to this huge demonstration which hit Lomé, Togo, and other parts of the other cities in the country.
You know, yesterday, last evening, the government has gone, has issued the kind of decision that they've considered that there will be reform on. They've considered on what the opposition is asking for. The opposition is asking for the limitation of the mandate, presidential mandate, to the terms of presidential mandate. So they are saying that okay, they have considered that it should be 2 terms, but it's just kind of a starting point. This kind of proposal should go to the parliament for the parliament to pass that bill. But for now, actually, the parliament they are in a majority in the parliament.
That's
so
right.
The opposition is saying that they are careful because that same decision has already been said or has already been taken, but they didn't go forward. So they are afraid that even though the government is saying that they will move forward, they are afraid that even when it goes to the parliament, it will be blocked. So they are insisting. The opposition is still insisting that the government should come back to the 1992 constitution.
Interesting. So across Togo today, how was security? Because I saw the crowd, huge numbers, every space within the city had been taken over by these opposition protests, and that might have sent some worrying signals among the security agencies. How did they react?
No, there was no problem. You know, there was kind of itinerary that the demonstrators should follow, and they really followed the instructions that were given. So the security men, I mean the policemen, didn't have any kind of problem securing the demonstration. So there was no problem. There was no problem at all during the demonstration.
And so no arrests were made, correct?
No arrest. There was no problem at all.
Right. So I know that as a journalist, beyond just telling us about the report on the ground during the protests, you may have heard media discussions on the issues. What are Togolese citizens generally saying on the media, on social media, Facebook, and radio and television, etc.?
Oh, come on. Talking about Facebook on social media. We in Togo, we didn't have access to social media today. You know, since yesterday, that was 8 p.m., everything was censored. There was no issue for us to have access to internet, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. This morning, we got chance to have access to Twitter. But when it got to 11 a.m., nobody got that chance anymore.
Interesting.
So there was this kind of censorship on social media. And there was this kind of minister who said that they've placed the ban on social media because of national security. He said that, the last demonstration, people were sharing pictures, videos, and in government, they didn't really like it. And so today there was no access to social media. But talking about the radio or kind of a general information outlet, you know, Togolese today are saying that they also want to go back to the 1992 Constitution. And I've met today some of the people who I've never seen on the street. And they are saying that they are fed up of what the government is doing, or they are fed up of what Paul Nyasingbe is doing. You know, he's on his third term. He's on his third term, and people are saying that they are fed up that he should do a step forward by saying that they are limiting the mandate and all those stuff. So people on the street today, they were expressing their anger and are saying that they will come back tomorrow on the street to demonstrate how.
Right, Silvio Kombe is a freelance journalist in Togo. Thank you very much, Silvio, for joining us. I'm Stephen Anti. This is still News at 10. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, Defense Minister Dominic Nitawo says conflicts are creating human insecurity in the West African sub-region and therefore undermining political stability and economic growth in the region. He therefore called for renewed efforts to bring to an end conflict at all levels.
Peace is a prerequisite for development of every society. Speaking at the opening of a 2-week training course on managing defense in a wider security context at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dominic Nitawo indicated peace must be promoted by both governments and the entire citizenry.
The next 2 weeks has been carefully planned to equip you adequately to make individuals and collective contributions to reform you, which will be aimed at restoring professionalism, efficiency, and effectiveness of the various security and defense sectors to consolidate democracy in our developing countries within the sub-region and in Africa especially.
The training, which brings together participants from various security and intelligence agencies from the West African sub-region, is aimed at enabling representatives across the security sector to contribute to the development, implementation and review of national defense strategies. Deputy Commandant at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Brigadier General Emmanuel Kotia, stated the sub-region had not done badly in the management of security and defense. He was, however, quick to add that there is the need for security agencies to appreciate new trends in defense management.
This course over the years has helped to reshape the thinking so far as various operators in these sectors are concerned, to understand that so far as defense and security is concerned, there is really democratic and civil control over defense and security. For now, I can say that knowledge acquiring is not bad. We continue to upgrade the knowledge of these actors.
British High Commissioner to Ghana, Lane Walker, urged participants to go back and ensure they practice the course content.
This is about exchanging experience, hard-won experience in many cases, of defence challenges, security challenges, whether that's managing internal defence arrangements, terrorist responses, and it will cover elements of early warning systems, but a great opportunity to kind of build some of the best practice from the region.
The course, which examines approaches to governance, management of defence in developed and transitional democracies, is in partnership with the British government, United Kingdom Defence Academy and Cranfield University, UK.
And Dean of Arts and Sciences at Asiedu-Dartey, Professor Asiedu-Dartey, has encouraged government to continuously support the energy sector since it drives modern economies. He made the statement at the launch of the first annual Ghana Energy Awards in Accra to recognize outstanding contributions and achievement of industry players. Professor Ade indicated the country should not lose sight of the crucial enabling role the energy sector plays in economic development. He urged the government to provide the necessary enabling environment for the energy and petroleum sector. The Made in Ghana Energy Awards will be held on November 30, 2017 at the La Beach Hotel under the theme Redefining Excellence. Chairman of the panel and energy expert Dr. Kwame Ampofo stated the various categories in the energy awards would serve the interests of stakeholders in the public and private sectors. The awards will cut across upstream and downstream sectors, petroleum and power subcategories, and an Apex Award. These include Leadership Award, Energy Personality of the Year, CEO of the Year, Emerging Energy Company of the Year, Institution and Rising Star of the Year. The rest are Renewable Energy Company, Corporate Social Responsibility, Energy Financial Provider, Consulting, Engineering Industry Leadership Award, Best Energy Reporter, Lifetime Achievement, Brand of the Year, Bulk Oil Distribution Company, and Consultancy Providers of the Year. A member of the awards panel, Kwame Jantua, was of the view that outstanding players in the energy industry need to be recognized.
Energy has been a hot topic and discussion in the country. You've got many actors now, both from upstream, midstream, downstream. It's a sector that Ghanaians realize would catapult this country in its industrial aspirations. And so it's a good thing that we award those who are part and parcel of making the country's aspirations happen.
All nominees and supporting materials must be submitted electronically on Ghana Energy Awards website. Nominations would close by September 30, 2017.
I'm quite comfortable with the credibility that it's shown so far. It's my hope that they'll maintain the tempo, the credibility and the structure, the system they're putting in place. Not just giving people awards, but trying to make sure people who get awards really deserve it and can positively encourage people to improve their services.
And while some prospective senior high school students are still struggling to get placed, others and their parents have begun checking on admissions at various schools. Evelyn Tengma reports that parents and their wards have, however, been asked by school authorities to report on Monday, September 10.
The 2017-2018 Senior High School academic calendar is scheduled to begin next Monday with the rolling out of the free SHS policy, but efforts to ascertain whether school authorities have received the required materials and funds for the free senior high education were unsuccessful. We were told heads of government and assisted senior high schools nationwide were in a meeting. Some parents were at the schools to check on their wards' admissions.
I'm here to confirm my sister's placement into Accra Girls. Yeah, they're saying that the list from Ghana Education Service isn't here yet. Even though the placement is online, they don't have the list to verify that she has been placed here or not. So we should go back and come back by Monday. Maybe they will have the list.
The first choice was Presec Boys. The second choice was here. He got it. So we just came to check on the admissions. That we should come on Monday. That the headmasters are in a meeting, therefore every student should come on Monday.
Meanwhile, all prospective SHS students have up to Thursday, September 7 to be placed.
Right, so students are actually expected to report on September 11, not September 10. That's how we end News at 10, our last bulletin for the day. Thank you very much for staying with us. There is more news at 3news.com. On behalf of the crew here, good night.